Hello, my friends, and welcome back to the Reflux Revolution podcast. I'm Molly, registered dietitian and founder of Flora Nutrition, and also a fellow GERD sufferer. I have been right where you are, navigating the ups and downs of reflux, GERD, LPR. I know firsthand how frustrating it is to feel like every meal is a gamble. You take a bite of something and wonder, is this going to be something I regret? Is this going to trigger my symptoms? Is this going to stop my healing? I've been there. If you want to learn more about my journey, let me know, and I can definitely make a full podcast episode on that. But anyways, I spent years struggling with reflux myself and feeling like that constant lump in the throat, waking up in the middle of the night with a burning chest, avoiding a long list of foods because I was scared of triggering symptoms. But let me tell you, relief is possible. You don't have to live in constant fear of food. So today we are going to be diving into one of the biggest questions I get from our clients, and it's a question that is really key in making progress towards healing. And this question is, what should I actually be eating to heal my reflux? So in today's episode, we're going to talk about the best foods for soothing reflux, some that could be really helpful in your healing journey, and also how to structure your meals a little bit so you can feel good after eating and you can prevent reflux. And I think this topic is so key to your healing journey because we get stuck in a cycle of seeing food as the enemy. When you have reflux, we're always thinking what food is causing our symptoms, and we're always seeing food in a negative light, and this can really cause a lot of hypervigilance around food. It can cause anxiety. I've even seen it cause eating disorders. So we really need to shift the mindset when it comes to food towards how can I eat to heal? How can I eat to support my digestion? So by the end of this episode, you'll have a clear, confident picture of what to put on your plate, and I'll share some of my favorite reflux-friendly foods to help you heal. Before we begin, quick disclaimer, the information shared in the Reflux Revolution podcast is intended for educational and informational purposes only. It's not meant to diagnose, treat, or cure any medical condition. It should not replace personalized medical advice from your physician or individualized medical nutrition therapy from a registered dietitian. Always consult your healthcare team before making any changes to your health routine. This podcast offers a holistic perspective to support your well-being, but your body is unique and your care should be too. So I want to start by saying that your diet is one of the most powerful tools for managing reflux, but it's not about extreme restriction here. I see so many people falling into the trap of cutting out every single food, from coffee to tomatoes to garlic to kiwi to dairy to gluten, even water. Yes, at one point, I reduced my water intake because of reflux, and I've had so many clients just stop drinking water because they think it's causing their reflux. And so the truth is here, there is no one-size-fits-all approach. One really important thing to know is that identifying your personal reflux triggers is key for long-term healing. And it's really important because certain foods can relax the lower esophageal sphincter, that little muscle that's supposed to keep stomach acid and stomach contents in your stomach. And when it relaxes too much, if we're having too much of these foods, like alcohol, caffeine, carbonation, too much of these things can allow your sphincter to weaken temporarily. It can cause a reflux. Other foods, like acidic foods like tomatoes and acidic fruits like oranges and lemon, these may be more a problem for people with LPR. Because that type of reflux is driven by pepsin, and pepsin is activated by acid. So, there's different triggers for different people. But with that said, there are foods that actually can help when it comes to reflux. So let's start with some of my favorite soothing, healing foods. And one of the first ones is actually melons. So melons are an amazing alkaline fruit that are hydrating. They are rich in vitamin C, which is really important because some of the other fruits that are rich in vitamin C, like oranges and lemon, we may need to be pausing in your healing phase. So inviting in melon can be really, really helpful, and it can be really soothing. You can do it in a smoothie, you can add it to a fruit salad. And this vitamin C component is also important because vitamin C helps stabilize mast cells and helps to prevent excess histamine. So histamine can play a role. It's a chemical messenger in our body. And when we have histamine overload, this can play a role in a lot of digestive symptoms. So getting enough vitamin C is really, really key. So love melons. Another fruit that I love is banana. And I know this one's a little controversial, and I'll tell you the reason why. But banana is great. It's rich in potassium, an important mineral for your digestion. It is alkaline, it's soothing. Many people feel that it kind of helps coat the esophagus. So it's a great one. When it comes to bananas, that's a little controversial. Some people feel they are a reflux trigger. And if you do, it may point us actually more in the direction of histamine. Like you may have more of a histamine problem because bananas are a high histamine food or histamine liberator food. So this may point us, maybe we need to do a little bit of gut microbiome support or look into histamines for you. If you're eating really, really ripe bananas, like with spots, these are gonna be higher histamine, higher FODMAP. So FODMAPs are types of fermentable carbohydrates that can kind of trigger bloating in some people. So you may want to do a non-spotted banana and see how that feels for you. Oatmeal is another wonderful reflux-friendly food. It's, again, high in fiber, which helps absorb stomach acid. And fiber is really key. I'm going to talk about this later in the podcast about how fiber, there's new research coming out about how fiber can actually potentially help with LPR in specific. But this is a great one. I think it's really soothing, easy to incorporate in overnight oats, in a warm oatmeal bowl. We love the pumpkin overnight oats recipe on the Flora app, or you could do like an oatmeal chia seed pudding, something like that. This one also, I'll say, a controversial one because oatmeal can be a trigger for some people who have SIBO. Small intestinal bacterial overgrowth is just something that I hear really frequently in my clients with SIBO, that oatmeal is a trigger. So if these foods are triggers, it might not be reflux trigger. It may be triggering kind of more the root cause of your reflux, if that makes sense. Another healing, soothing food, which you may not have thought of, but almond milk. So almond milk is a lovely tool to keep in your back pocket because it actually is rich in calcium. The ones that are fortified with calcium, the ones that you can find, at the grocery store, they have added calcium carbonate. And this is actually really useful for people who are maybe in a reflux flare, to get a little bit of calcium, not only because PPIs can reduce your absorption of calcium, but also because calcium is kind of like a natural antacid. So it can help to balance out excess stomach acid if you're feeling like you have a sour stomach, using some almond milk. And also similarly to the banana, people feel that it kind of coats and soothes their esophagus. So could be something to try as a little bit of a home remedy. Tums, or like antacids, are literally just high dose calcium. So this is like a little bit, I would say, safer for much safer for everyday use because it's such a lower dose of calcium. So you don't run the risk of like overdosing on calcium. But it's like a great way to supplement there, especially if you don't do dairy. Getting a little bit more calcium is really important. Protein is really important that we keep in our diet. I know that there's lots of books out there, especially in the gastritis world, that are encouraging low protein diets, and I have not seen this play out in practice as a really helpful strategy. Like, we still need protein. It's so important to remember that your gut is quite literally a muscle, and we need to get enough protein to support this muscle. Your gut is smooth muscle, and protein is key. So lean protein is what we want to focus on, things like chicken, turkey. If you're struggling with a lot of bloating and distension and uncomfortable symptoms, maybe you do ground meats, like a little bit softer there. Or maybe you do something like the gut nourishing chicken soup on the Flora app. That recipe is really great for healing and very easy to digest. We also love eggs. Eggs get a bad rep on social media and just diet culture, but eggs are like a little multivitamin. They have every single vitamin except vitamin C, and they are wonderful. And when it comes to the yolks, we don't want to get excess fat during your meal unless you need more fat, unless you're trying to gain weight. But when it comes to the yolks, maybe you do 1 or 2 yolks and then add additional egg whites for a little bit more protein. So you're not overdoing the fat there, but you're still getting really good choline and all of the other essential vitamins and minerals in eggs. I love eggs and egg whites as well in the feta spinach egg white bites on the Flora app, or the omelet in a mug recipe on the Flora app. Really easy and simple way to get in protein. Fish is really important, and If you are not eating fish, we might want to think about an omega-3 supplementation protocol for you because it's that important. Omega-3 is essential for your healing. That's why they're called omega-3 essential fatty acids, because your body literally can't produce it on its own. You have to eat omega-3s through food or supplementation. So I'm talking salmon, cod, tuna. These things help reduce inflammation, which is so important because one of the biggest reasons that reflux symptoms persist is actually inflammation. Like previous inflammation from reflux is causing pain, esophagitis, gastritis. So getting in enough omega-3s is really important. I love the salmon bites on the Flora app, the maple glazed salmon, the salmon sushi bowl. Those are all great ways to kind of intro that. We also love the miso cod recipe on the Flora app. And I'll make sure to link a 7-day risk-free trial to the Flora app down below if you're looking for more anti-reflux strategies and reflux-friendly recipes. Okay, let's talk about chickpeas and lentils. Beans and lentils and pulses can be an amazing part of a reflux-friendly diet plan. However, we want to just be careful with the portion size here. If we go too large in portion size, it can cause a lot of gas and bloating, and they can be uncomfortable. And if you have been avoiding these things, maybe because they have caused you problems in the past, or maybe you have IBS and you've noticed bloating or difficulty digesting lentils, beans, or pulses, you want to go slow. Think about little micro doses of these in your diet. So a couple tablespoons of lentils in your bowl, a couple tablespoons of chickpeas in your stew, or sprinkling a little bit of black beans or edamame into whatever you're having. Like adding little bits here and there will expose your gut to these foods. It will give you more diversity in your diet, which is so important. Diversity is key for your microbiome health. And it will also let your body get used to this type of fiber so you don't have such a big gas reaction when you eat these. So think about microdosing these little bits of chickpeas, lentils, whatever you like, edamame, black beans, white beans, or maybe a couple spoonfuls of a white bean dip. We do have a recipe for that, as well as an edamame hummus recipe on the app, which is really, really easy and delicious. This type of fiber is also great for boosting healthy gut microbes, so definitely recommend trying that out. Okay, let's talk carbs. Carbs are not the enemy, okay? Carbs also are something that get a bad rep. People think carbs cause weight gain, and that is simply not true. Excess calories cause weight gain, and carbs are essential for your motility, for your hormones, and they also contain some really important vitamins and minerals for reflux. So brown rice and quinoa, whole grains like this, give you fiber without spiking your blood sugar. They also have B vitamins, and B vitamins are something that is often low in people with PPI use, long-term Pepcid or omeprazole use. Also sweet potatoes, purple potatoes, or even white potatoes. These are easy to digest. They're packed with nutrients, and they're naturally a great soothing reflux-friendly food. They also contain resistant starch, and this happens when you cook and then you cool the potatoes again. It builds up this type of resistant starch, which is a prebiotic for your gut microbes. It nourishes and fuels your healthy gut microbiome, and that's really important, and it's an added bonus. You know, if you cook and then cool them, they're ready for you later. It's like your meal prep is also boosting your gut health, which is amazing. And then whole grain breads like sourdough or whole wheat bread, these are great ways to just add in an easy source of fiber to your sandwich or toast in the morning. And just a reminder that gluten is not inflammatory, okay? I know on social media, everyone makes it seem like in the pseudoscience echo chamber of functional medicine that gluten is inflammatory. This is simply not true for everyone. Yes, people with celiac need to avoid gluten. Yes, people with gluten sensitivities or allergies need to avoid gluten. If you have intestinal permeability issues, we may avoid gluten, but it's not inflammatory for everyone. That word is not based in science. That statement is not evidence-based, and it's just not one size fits all. Sorry guys, it's not that simple. Okay, let's talk now about some foods that have some functional benefits. So a few foods that I want to just mention because they are functional foods that might support your digestion, help you prevent reflux. Number one is papaya. Papaya is another wonderful low-acid melon. It contains digestive enzymes. One of my clients, she swears by this. She eats a little bit of papaya at her lunch and her dinner most days, and she feels like this was so helpful to her healing journey. She felt like it was this natural digestive boost that really helped her not only prevent reflux, but also prevent constipation, because it's a great food for preventing constipation. Let's chat ginger. Ginger is another controversial ingredient. It can be wonderful because it can stimulate your stomach to empty a little bit faster. It's a natural prokinetic, meaning it helps to stimulate motility, the flow of food through your digestive system. But it also can feel a little bit burny if you have LPR, if you have throat symptoms, heartburn. It can feel like spicy. So this might not be appropriate for everyone in their healing journey. I would say it's 50-50 split between our clients at Flora Nutrition. About half of them love ginger and they utilize it as a prokinetic. The other half do not tolerate it well. So one of those things to maybe test tolerance and start small with. I love it as a tea. I love ginger root. I love adding this into some of our recipes like the carrot ginger soup on the Flora app. That's another really great one to try. Now let's chat psyllium husk. So a 2025 study by Rana and colleagues took a look at psyllium husk in the context of LPR recovery. And they found that when they combined psyllium husk into the treatment plan of those with LPR, though everyone in the study was on a PPI, but those who were on psyllium husk and the PPI had much more statistically significant improvements in their symptoms, specifically with coughing and throat pain. And they also saw much quicker results when they took the psyllium husk. Psyllium husk is a type of soluble fiber supplement. And, what this study means, I think, is that there is a component of gut health when it comes to reflux. And I'm not saying you have to take a psyllium husk supplement by any means, but I think we really need to think about how much fiber we're getting in a day, because not only does this boost your gut health, it also boosts motility. It helps your digestive system move stool out of the body, which again helps to release pressure on the lower esophageal sphincter and prevent reflux. So getting enough fiber is really important for those healthy bowel movements. It can also help with motility, and you can't underestimate the power of fiber. We need to all be thinking about how much fiber we're getting. Fiber is found in fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, legumes, and each meal ideally should have a fruit or a vegetable in your diet. One thing I also want to mention is nutritional yeast. So nutritional yeast is a seasoning that actually tastes really good. It's like a savory, umami, kind of cheesy flavor, but this contains loads of B vitamins. And I mentioned earlier how B vitamins are often low in those who have had long-term PPI use, and these deficiencies can contribute to further issues with reflux. These deficiencies can contribute to poor digestive enzyme function, can even impact hormones, immune function. So we want to make sure we're getting enough. So sprinkling a little bit of nutritional yeast onto your food is a great idea. You could put this on roasted vegetables, on popcorn, on chicken. Really great way to add in some B vitamin support. Also, fennel seeds. Fennel seeds have been used for centuries in various cultures to help support digestion. And this is great, especially if you struggle with bloating. But chewing some fennel seeds after a meal can help stimulate digestion. Also, fennel tea is really great. It's a carminative herb, meaning it can help to stimulate digestion and break up gas bubbles. So fennel seeds or fennel tea are great. And then lastly, I want to mention slippery elm. Slippery elm is a magic ingredient when it comes to soothing irritation in the esophagus, in the stomach, and we love using this with our clients in the pure form. And I'm actually launching a supplement very soon that contains slippery elm and a few other key functional ingredients. So I'm really excited about that because there's nothing on the market like it in the potency that we need, in the dosages that we need. So very excited to share that with you in the next few months or so. Okay, so now that you know a few awesome foods to eat, and by the way, this is not a comprehensive list of foods that you can eat. Of course, there are more amazing reflux-friendly foods that you can eat, but these are just a few highlights. Now that we've talked about this, let's talk about how we can put it into practice, how you can build a meal plan that helps you support your reflux relief journey, but also gives you all the nutrition that your body needs to help optimize gut health and reduce inflammation. So maybe breakfast is a feta and spinach omelet with some sauteed mushrooms and sweet potato. And I usually prep my sweet potato ahead of time so that it's really quick and ready to eat in the morning. Or maybe you do a ground turkey bowl with sweet potato and a little bit of shredded cabbage. What's great about shredded cabbage is it's like already in the package, cut and washed. You can just throw it into your bowl. Maybe top that with an egg or with some of the reflux-friendly tzatziki on the Flora app. Or if you want to go sweet, maybe you do a oatmeal bowl with a little bit of almond butter, banana. You could even cook in a little bit of egg whites into your oatmeal to give it more protein. Just make sure you keep stirring so that you don't end up with scrambled eggs in your oatmeal. Or you could do a reflux-friendly protein powder. I do have some that are linked on my website. I can link that for you down below. You just want to always make sure when you're having carbohydrates like oatmeal, sweet potato, you're having them with a little bit of protein and healthy fats, like the healthy fats found in eggs or a little bit of almond butter. We still do need fat in our diet, and it helps to balance our blood sugar. We just don't want to overdo it when it comes to reflux. Now, maybe lunch looks like grilled chicken with quinoa and some roasted zucchini. And this is also something you could prep really easily on a Sunday so that it's ready for you. Maybe you do a tofu bowl. I love the crispy tofu recipe that we have on the app, and you could have that with some noodles and some bok choy or whatever vegetable that you like, maybe asparagus or kale. And then for seasonings with this type of stuff, I really love using dried sumac. It's a great way to add flavor. Dried sumac has a little bit of a zinginess that you might be missing if you're avoiding citrus. You could also do like fresh dill, basil, dried cilantro, dried seasonings like oregano or sage, rosemary, nutritional yeast, salt. These are always going to add flavor to your veggies and proteins. Maybe you have an afternoon snack. An afternoon snack is really key in allowing dinner to be lighter. We really don't want dinner to be our super, super heavy meal when you struggle with reflux. So having an afternoon snack is a great way to invite in more nutrition and prevent overeating at dinner. So maybe you do a little protein bite like our carrot cake bites, or maybe you do a rice cake with a little bit of sun butter and a banana, or maybe you do a smoothie that has papaya and almond milk or something like that. And then dinner could be where you invite in your seafood. Sometimes seafood can take a little bit longer to cook, so maybe you add salmon or cod. The miso cod is delicious with mashed rosemary, potatoes, and steamed green beans or something like that. So you're getting in that formula of protein, plant, carbohydrate. Your body really needs all of these things to support gut health, support motility, and to help you heal. So keep in mind that formula when you're building your meal: protein plus plant plus carb. And then the healthy fats usually come in the cooking method or in the flavor addition. The goal is not to be perfect all the time with eating. No one is perfect. I am not a perfect eater. None of our clients are perfect eaters. It's just to find what works for you and to make small, sustainable changes. And when you get off balance, which everyone does, I get off balance, our clients get off balance. When you get off balance, it's just about getting back on track quickly. So I hope this episode gave you some clarity on how to eat in a way that supports your gut and reduces reflux. I hope that you found it helpful, and be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who may need it. You can also check out our website down below for more resources, www.flora-nutrition.com. We have tons of free downloads on our website as well as our blog, so you definitely want to go check that out. Until next time, take care, eat well, and be kind to your gut.